Hey everyone, and welcome to another segment on the bench. This is Brent Schlenker coming to you here, British Columbia, Canada. If you're from the Semper Fly group, they're shown all over the world, and actually our support fishing on the fly folks. We got a good following from New Zealand all over, so that's nice to have you join us. This is my Enticer Baitfish. It's basically a compilation of a lot of flies I've seen online. I've seen like a little fat boy that's similar to that. I've fished a fly many years ago, kind of a wool-headed fly in Florida. I don't know, remember the pattern, but it was a very slender tail on it as well. It was very productive. When I do my Enticer series of bugs of any sort, I put the flash on the inside. You can see them when they're in the water moving, and they don't really take over the pattern too much. But this one here's got the little red gill showing underneath. I got the eyes kind of to match the coloration of the flash on this one. So you can change the colors up whatever you like. Let's get to it. Get a hook in the vise and we'll go over the materials as we go along. Okay, so what I want to do here, I like using these Owner mosquito hooks or a nice short shank hook. And I use Owner a lot on fish that I'm going to be targeting with very hard mouths. It's a great hook, very, very, very sharp. One of my favorites. And on the front of that, I'll just show it to you when I get it in the vise here. When that happens, let me pitch my barb down on it first. And then I've got a small cone head. Put a little bead in behind. Just kind of some place for my thread to go. I'm just going to be using some 6/0 olive thread on here. Just get it to stop. The bead will stop right at the thread. I want it basically in the center to kind of just keep the fly balanced. And then I'll come in here with some marabou. There's nothing breathes better than a marabou plume. Now you want to make sure you get this center piece out. It doesn't swim very good. And as you get it in here, you'll see how nice it goes right down, right to zero almost. I'm just going to tie that right on top of that thread. I can see it. I'm quite a ways away from my fly here. I got my camera ahead of me, so bear with me. There we go. A couple turns in the back. Lock that in. That ain't going nowhere now. Then I'll just take some Senyo's laser dub, white. Come in with, doesn't take much of this, just want to make sure that you kind of get your fibers all facing the same direction. Work it with your fingers, stack it. Kind of across, see Paul Manahan, he does a fly with his flash tails with that cone in the center too. The fat boy is done with a bead in the front, in the middle. It's a great idea those guys come up with, and there's probably other flies done that way too, but this is not my true invention by any means. It's kind of a compilation of several, like I said. And it's kind of nice about tying your own flies. You can use different materials, check, use some other ideas, incorporate everything. And most of these flies nowadays are just basically that. We've got patterns that have evolved over the years, and guys are changing materials out a little bit or different little technique, put their name on it, whatever. Not a big deal. I don't care about my name on it that much. It just, this next piece here that I'm going to do is kind of critical. That's why I call it the Enticer, because I like flash, but not overdoing it. Get it too bright, and it kind of spooks the fish almost. So I'm coming in here now. This is ice wing fiber. It's got a green hue to it because I'm using kind of an olive colored fly. So this one, you won't see it really green on the vise too much, but once you get it wet, like you've seen the wet one there, it really takes on a new color. So I'm going to just come in here and I'm going to tie that on the side ahead of that cone. And this on this side, basically to envelope it, but I want it primarily on the sides. There's a little coming out the back right now. That's fine. You can trim that all off later. Get it all teed up. So there we go with that. Get some good turns in there. I'm going to turn it up. Now here's a soft material that these are all very, very breathable, soft materials because I want a lot of movement. The benefit of fishing this fly compared to a lot of other ones that are like a stiff type streamer or a straight, you're just stripping them. This one here you can kind of leave in the zone a long time. It's going to swim, it's going to move. The Enticer was originally tied for trout, and I went to steelhead, I went to many other species with it. Saltwater applications, tube flies. We've done a lot with what I call my Enticer, where I just keep everything tucked in the center. And the movement is really the key. The Enticer is the movement, more so than the colors or when I'm fishing. I want these flies to breathe. If they're just sitting static in the water, they're fishing, they're moving. Their materials are so soft. So that is underneath there, just like some polybear, I believe it's what it was called. It's a very, very soft, almost like a wool. It may have flash or may not, doesn't matter. Just put a little red throat on there. That's going to show through for you in the bottom. A little bit for your gills. And then I'll come in with another really soft material I like. Gord Silverthorne gave me a bunch of this, set me up years ago. He found this, it's llama's wool, I believe it is. Or I'm not sure what kind of wool it is. It's llama, I think, but it's a very soft material and makes a great breathable product, and it's natural too. This one's hard to beat this. It's like polar bear, you know, everybody's trying to duplicate it, can't. This I try to straighten out my fibers here again and stack it. Then I'm just going to do a soft loop on the outside. This is going to be enveloping the fly, basically all around. Then I'll come from the front. My fibers shouldn't get too trapped down on this. It will a little bit. It doesn't look too organized right now until I get my brush on it. I kind of push it back. It gets a nice, look how big that, like if I showed you this fly dry, you'd say, well, that's not going to work. That just looks stupid. Okay. I'll get my brush in here. I'm going to give it a quick comb out just for now. If I don't have quite as much on the bottom, that's okay, because that'll show a little more of that brighter belly under it. So there, I got it a little more organized. Then I like to put a little bit of a dorsal, and this is like an angel hair or angelina hair, they call it in some places. Or you can use baitfish flashes and stuff like that, and just give a little bit on the top. Because all baitfish have a darker top. You want something that kind of works with the color you're using. This one's the olive. And then I'll tie this all back. That's why I'm using kind of a smaller thread. 6/0, I can still get enough pressure in. It's not a lot of materials in there. It looks like a lot, but there's nothing really in there. Not much. And there we go from that. Now I'll just get some Solarez. Coat that while it's sitting there. I'm kind of hurrying. I'm back from it quite a ways. And when I'm sitting a little closer, I can see what I'm doing. So bear with me if it doesn't look super pretty on the TV right now. On your video, it'll look a little better in a minute here, hopefully. Cook that on. And then I'll brush that out again. It's looking a little better, a little more organized. And then I'll just come in with some eyes. I just grabbed some real quick here to show you. This is a blue, pink, black. I should have maybe had a gold eye on this one probably. We'll go with it, just kind of show you what I'm doing. And I'll get my bodkin needle, my marine goop. That's what I like using to put my eyes on. Get a little dollop on the needle. And then get right on the front. A lot of guys are putting those eyes right on at the thread. I like to go back a little bit, place them where I think they look a little more natural. Just get that out of the way. That looks a little neater than the first one I showed you. I got to get some a little more goop on here. Pull your fibers back. If it looks like a little too much, I'm going to make a mess. I'll wipe that off my needle point. And then get a little bit less. When you're using goop, make sure it's marine goop, or this was new called Goop Max 2, I believe it is, and it's UV resistant. You want UV resistant product. Doesn't change color on you, get yellow and ugly. Stays clear. I will come in with another eye right there. It's got a super wide head on it. Like that is really wide, but some of these bait fish like sculpins that do have a big, thick, wide, flat head. That's kind of the way I'm tying this one. Flatter belly. You'll see there's no real green showing through there. You'll see more of the red gills. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll brush it out again. But like I said, when you get it on the vise like this, you'll say, "What the heck? This looks kind of weird," and it does. It doesn't look really super pretty right now, but it's magical when you get that wet. That changes the whole dynamics of this fly. Here's my wet one again. And that's what you want to do when you're tying or fishing flies or whatever else. Make sure you go get them wet. If there's a little bit longer there, just nip that little piece off. But look at the flash on that. That breathe through there. There's not very much flash in those patterns, but the gills are showing through the bottom, and it's super soft. That you can leave that fishing with I like clear intermediate lines. We're going to leave them in the zone. You can fish it as slow as you want, or you can leave it static. And those are deadly bait fish when you can do that. I don't like a fly that's just sitting in the water like a stick. So there it is. That's an olive Enticer Baitfish. The dry version, wet version. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you again real soon.